Welcome to Reynolds Reviews, where we review a wide variety of products and supplies. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on the way in so that you don't miss any of our future videos. And if you've got a personal experience with the products or supplies that we covered in this video, be sure to leave your personal experience down below in the comments. As always, links to all products and supplies will be available in the description box below. Welcome, folks. Kendall here with Reynolds Pros and Joes, back with another installment of Reynolds Reviews, and today we're going to be unboxing and demonstrating the Blisslights Skylight 2.0 with green stars. So we're going to open up the box, we're going to show you what comes inside, then we're going to move to a different space where we can demonstrate all of this unit's different features. Let's jump into that unboxing. So let's open up this Blisslights Skylight 2.0 with green stars and see what comes inside of the box. First thing we notice that we have here is going to be our user's guide. We'll set that to the side. And we've got some documentation here that identifies some of the new and improved features on this new version. We've got some promotional literature here for some other items. And then as you can see here, we've got our Blisslights projector here wrapped in this plastic. And then we've got our power cord here with our plug already connected. So we can take this out and set this to the side. And then let's take out our projector. So the projector is in a little baggie here. We can remove that. First thing I want to point out on this unit is we've got 3 buttons here that control all of the functions. We've got a button here that controls the brightness. This button controls the motion, and this button controls the power. If we turn to the side here, you can see that we've got the places where we're going to have our projection coming from. We'll always remember to remove this blue film here, because this is going to affect the way that your projection projects onto your ceiling. So always remember to remove this before you begin. And if we turn around to the back here, you can see this is where our plug plugs in here. And one more feature that I also wanted to point out is that this unit has feet on the bottom so that you can position it in more than one way. So if you're going to be in a situation where you're going to have your projector basically centrally located in the room, you can have the unit sitting back on these 2 feet here, where our projection eyes are essentially pointing straight up, and that would go up just like so. However, if you're going to be using this unit in a space and you're going to have this projector off to the side, you're going to be projecting at an angle towards the center of the room, then you would use these 2 feet here, where you would kind of turn it at an angle here, and then you can see that our projection eyes are going to shoot at an angle there to be able to hit the ceiling from an angle. So that concludes our unboxing of this unit. Let's move to a different space where we can go through the different features on this Blisslights Skylight 2.0 with green stars. Okay, so we're now in the space where we're going to be demonstrating the Blisslights Skylight 2.0 with green stars. The first thing I'm going to do is turn the unit on so that you can see what our projection looks like. And before we go any further, I want to mention that this version of the Blisslights, which is the 2.0, allows you to control the functions both on the projector itself as well as by a smartphone app. So the first thing I'm going to do is go through the functions on the projector itself, and then I'm going to show you how you can control the features on a smartphone, which will also give you a little bit more functionality above what you have on the projector itself. So the first feature on the projector that I want to go over is going to be the brightness setting. Now the brightness setting is going to be controlled by the button at the rear of the unit of the 3, so the one that's furthest to the rear of the 3 buttons. And then we have 3 different brightness settings. We have our low, medium, and high. We're currently set on high. I'm going to press the brightness button 1 time, and that's going to take us down to medium. And I'm going to press it 1 more time, and that's going to take us down to low. So we're currently set on low. So 1 more time we'll go through this. High. Now we're at medium. Now we're at low. Back up to high, and we're going to leave it set on high. So you also may notice that we have movement on our projection right now. So we have our red, we have our green, and we have our blue clouds that are moving from right to left. And we also have movement in our green stars as they are turning in a counterclockwise pattern. We have the button in the center on our projector, and that's going to control motion. So I'm going to hit that button 1 time, and you will see that all of our motion will stop. So now you can see that we have no movement in our stars and no movement in our clouds. I'm going to press the button one more time. And there we have our motion again. So I'm going to press the button that controls our functions now. And as you can see now, we've moved to the second functionality setting, and I'm doing all this with the button that controls our power. So the second setting that we're on now allows the colors to fade all the way out and then fade back in. So the colors are still the same. We still have our blue, our green, and our red clouds along with our green stars, but as you can see, they are continuing to move, but they will periodically fade all the way out and then come right back. So that is in setting number 2. Now I'm going to press that button again, which is our power button, and that's going to take us on to our next setting. Now I've pressed that button again, and now you can see that we have just green stars. Now while I've got it set on just green stars, you can see that we have movement in the stars, and it's a little bit easier to see that the stars are moving in a counterclockwise pattern. I'm going to press our motion button to just stop it for just a second, just so that you can see what it looks like when there's no movement in the stars. I'm going to press it again to turn our motion back on. And now we're going to move on to our next color setting. So when I hit that power button again, and as you can see now, we have our red, blue, and our green clouds, but you can see that there's no stars. And I can also press that motion button again there in the center, and we can stop everything, and it became completely stationary. I'm going to hit it again for motion again. Now let's move on to the next color setting. As you can see now, we have our blue and green clouds with the green stars. We press our color setting button again. And now you can see we've transitioned to red and blue clouds with green stars. We'll press it again. We transition to red and green clouds with the green stars this time. So we'll press it again. And this setting eliminates the stars completely. And we start off with red clouds only. Now we transition to green clouds only. And then we transition to blue clouds only. As you can see, we have motion the entire time. So these are the different color settings for the Blisslights Skylight 2.0, which we can control here on the unit. If I hit the button one more time, this should turn the unit completely off. We're going to hit our power button one more time to demonstrate that. And then it transitions off. So now we've gone through all of the different settings on the Blisslights Skylight controls on the actual projector itself. Now we're going to transition over to the app. And so I'm cranking up the app now, and it is loading up. And now we can see what the app looks like. Now the first thing that I want to show you here on the app is that we've got our control here at the bottom, which is on and off. So let's go ahead and see if we can control that here. And this unit has not yet been added, which is why you don't see it. So as you can see here, you can see that there's a skylight on here already, but apparently that's not this one. So let's go to Blisslights Skylight 2.0. As you can see here, it gives instructions on how to sync the unit up. So we have to press this power button, and we need to hold it down until the device blinks 6 times. So we're going to walk through that really quickly. So I've turned it on. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I can release that. And then we go back here. We can select that we've done that. And we move over here to the next phase. Here we've got a countdown timer. You can see that we've got the unit here. It's recognizing it. It says that it's done. And synchronizing. Okay. Now it also wants to update, and as you can see, it's going to update here. I'm not going to bore you with this part. We'll resume once our update is done, and we'll jump into the demonstration of all the features here. Okay, now you can see all of our buttons are in color now, which means everything should work. So let's first demonstrate on and off. We hit that button there down at the bottom that turns it on and off. You can also control it here with our power button here, which will also do the same thing. Now we ran through 7 different settings here, and as you can see, we have the ability to scroll through each one of those different settings that we just went through on the projector. And you can just go ahead and select any one of those settings directly here by tapping on it like so. And that will change the projection to what you've just selected. You can also choose more here, and you can see everything on a much larger scale, and you can see the same settings there that we went through earlier. So now I'm going to back out of there, and I also want to show you some of the other functions that we've got here. Now I want to show you here we've got a timer. Now the timer will allow you to count down to when you want the unit to shut off here, and that's this setting here, and it goes in hours. We can also count in on when you want the unit to power on, and below that you can click on more, and this will actually allow you to select which color pattern you want to display when the unit does turn on, when you have it on time turn on. Let's back out of there. Let's go back one more time. And let's look at our effect cycle. So here we have the effect cycle, and we have to turn the effect cycle on, and that will allow us to select how long we want each one of those color styles to remain active. So we have the option of 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, and 2 minutes. And then we can select here down below it, we've got a tab that says play all effects here. That one is selected, but if we select the one below it, it takes us to a menu that has different arrows on it, and we can actually turn off the styles that we don't want to play in our rotation. So let's back out of there. Let's go ahead and turn that back off again, bump back out of there. And then we want to go over here and look at our controller. So we look at our controller here, you can see that we've got our rotation button, which we are looking at the screen being stopped here. Our projection is stopped. If we go ahead and press rotation, you can see that our movement has now resumed. And we can also do the same thing with fading. As I mentioned before, we currently have it on its brightest setting here. This is medium and this is low. And then we also have our ability here to control our colors. So we've got red turned on, which is indicated by it being purple. And we also have blue turned on, indicated by it being purple as well. You can see green is white, so you can see that green is not on. If I move this out of the way, you can see that there's no green there. But if I press our green button here in the center, you can see that the green has now appeared. I can press it again and the green will disappear. So let's go out of the controller settings. And the next thing that I also want to show you is that here at the top we have one tab that's called Effects. We have another tab called DIY. Above that you can see that you have your different Blisslights devices here along this different bars here. You can select which one you want to control. But let's go into DIY really quickly, because here we can actually control the brightness settings of all of the different colors. So we can see here that we've got everything is on 100%. We've got red, green, blue, and then we've got our stars that can also be controlled here. So if I step to the side here, you can see that red is down here in this section here. So I'm going to control red here, which is our setting at the top. It's currently at 100. I'm going to drop it down midways to 50, and you should be able to see it fade. You see it's faded out now, so it's not nearly as bright. And now I'm going to drop it down all the way to 0. And see, now it's faded completely away, and so there's no red there at all. I'm going to bring it all the way back up to 100. There it is. We can do that with all the different colors, and we can even do that with stars. So the stars are currently set on 100%, and then I'm going to drag our stars down to 50%. And you should be able to see that now they're not nearly as bright and prominent. And now I'm going to drag them all the way down to 0, and you can see you can't see any stars here at all. So I'm going to bring them all the way back up. And let's back out of there. And this is what the app looks like. Now, one more thing that I also want you to be able to see while we're in here going over the functionality of the Blisslights Skylight 2.0 is that I want you to be able to see the space that this is in so that you can get a good idea of how this may function in the space that you have planned to use it in. Let me first turn my green color back on here so you can see all the colors. And we're going to move to the other side of this room or further away from the projector so that you can get a better idea of our colors here and how this projection is working on our ceiling here. So now I'm on the other side of this space, and if I lean over here, you can see that that bright light down low there is the projector. I'm going to point to it right there. That's the projector sitting there. And this back wall here that this projector is on, this wall back here, is 16 feet wide. And we're currently standing 20 feet away from that other wall, and that projector is sitting less than a foot off the wall, probably less than 6 inches off the wall. And so that's what it looks like when it's set up just like that. Hopefully you found this unboxing and demonstration of the Blisslights Skylight 2.0 and Green Stars both helpful and informative, and I'll see you all in the next one.